Hi, my name is Andrew Newhall here with Let's Talk Disc Golf, and this week we are going to be talking about some of my favorite things and why I love the sport. One of the main reasons I really love the sport is because there is lots of ways to express yourself through just going out and playing the sport and being in nature and the great community that's out there and everybody that has just been so gracious in talking and information and just going out and having fun. I really love that aspect of disc golf. But one of my favorite things is the art expression that you can do through disc golf through apparel, which I got this apparel from Trilogy Talk, which is a great West Side clothing brand. I will put a link in the description for them so you can get any of your apparel that you want on there. Everything fits really well, feels really good, and is really high quality materials. The other favorite thing that I love is disc dyeing, which leaves for a lot of expression of what you can do to a disc. So on our next segment, I'm going to talk to two of my favorite disc golf dyers, and we're going to have a little interview with them. And then after that, we're going to do a little dyeing tutorial. And then after that, we'll have a montage of many of the great disc dyers from the disc dyeing Facebook page. And I'll get you links to all of that in the description. But we're going to get on to the interview, and thanks for joining Let's Talk Disc Golf. All right, so we're here with Let's Talk Disc Golf, and this week we're talking about dyeing, and so I wanted to talk to my two favorite dyers and kind of the day in the life and some of their experiences, and just wanted to let them kind of talk about it and do their interview. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit more about their experience with dyeing.
Hi, I'm Paul Lapierre, and
I'm Katie Pettit.
I started playing disc golf about 13 years ago. This year I got Katie into disc golf right back around March, right during the Corona time. As soon as we got out, started playing. Came across a video on YouTube one day while I was watching some of the pro tour of somebody dyeing a disc. So it was a shaving cream video. I clicked on it. It was kind of all over the place, but the guy had a couple discs there that he dyed. So came to Katie. I was like, hey, check this out. I'm like, we should try this. So I started Googling more methods of how to dye, and first thing we started with was shaving cream dyes. So right here. So the very first disc I ever did was this one, shaving cream method. Had a big old pan, a ton of shaving cream in it. Had bought some iodide poly, mixed it in water, and took some droppers and tried dropping it all over the shaving cream. Put the disc in, put a huge water bottle on it. Came out the next day, the whole thing was overflowed on the floor, counter, everything else. But then we started really getting into it. So we started taking all of our throwers and started doing shaving cream methods on those. That's when we learned that Champion plastic really does not take well with shaving cream. And then we started really getting into it. So we started Googling more into different forms, came across the lotion method, and that's when we discovered worm dip 2. So my very first lotion bed one was this beautiful brown ugly one that you cannot throw in the fall time, because I've lost that in the leaves about 20 times. And we started experimenting with some worm dip ones, so we get the nice bright colors.
Very bright.
Very bright. This one too. Then we started looking into doing stencils. So our very first and only hand cut ever stencils. Beast mode one was mine. It took like 2.5 hours to hand cut and then did a cold dip on it. After that, we were really hooked. And we're like, okay, we need to buy a cutting machine because we really want to get into stencils. So bought a cutting machine, and the very first stencil I ever did on a disc that does not dye really well is this mushroom here, hand painted on with worm dip, which took about 300 coats just to get it to there. And then we really started getting more into it. There was a couple other first stencils. And then one of my very first hot dips was this guy right here that bled everywhere. And then his second one that bled. So I started really asking around in the group, how exactly do you guys get them on there where you don't have all the crinkles and the bleeds? And we had so much great advice from people and started really getting into it. My first more intricate die was, or stencil was this one here. And then we started looking into different forms of beds as well. So we had my very first ever attempt at a glue bed with worm dip was this guy right here, which turned out really good. And then we started experimenting with different colors and different techniques in layering and glue beds, which glue beds the majority of what we do now. Started getting more into more intricate stencils, trying those out. And of course, I mean, it's always trial and error. I mean, a lot of these beginner ones, I can show you mistakes on every single one of them. So then we started getting more into it. My first multi-hot dip, which didn't turn out as well, was this Ninja Turtles here. I learned that I dye Kelly green does not dye green. It dyes almost black. First hand-painted ones was this one I made for my son, which I learned a lot about hand painting. Make sure you really wash after every single one really well, or you'll get a lot of bleeds. This was Katie's first hand painting, which got her first commission. And then, whoops. And then we really started getting into more intricate designs. There was a multi-method disc that I did, which was one of my first commission discs, or got me my first commission disc. We just kind of really kept going from there. Kept pushing each other, trying to push as far as we could. Another one made for my daughter right here. Then me and Katie collaborate on a lot of our discs. I always go to her, ask her for her advice on things. She comes to me, different designs. There's another one with worm dip and champion plastic. Started doing some discs for family members. Did this one for my grandmother, for my grandpa. That's a skunk tattoo that he had that he got for her, so she wanted that on a disc. Got Katie's daughter into dyeing, and here's some of the ones she's first started doing, which came out a lot better than our first.
Wow.
Yeah, she has grown to love this sport almost as much as we do, and has had a blast making all of these. That's on Champion. It's kind of hard to see.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed it. And we had a lot of people have asked about the color wheels in our group, and we were constantly looking at different color wheels. So I finally went through and made them for all of our like normal colors that you actually get stock from the places that we're getting our dyes from, just so that we had some kind of basis as to what colors are going to turn out what shade. And that's been really helpful. We still need a few more because obviously there's more colors out there than what I've got here, but we've really gone through, and we've also had to mix mediums on some of them to where if the colors didn't come out just the way we wanted them, adding the Dip and Glow worm dip to it really makes those colors pop. this is one that
More intricate ones.
Paul wanted to make for his dad, and so we turned that picture back there, if you can see it on the wall, into a stencil and made it happen. It's just been a lot of fun, and we do this almost daily. And we were actually just looking before we got on with you. We didn't start doing this till August 23rd. So we've only been doing it for about 4 months, and just kind of learning as we go. And the disc golf group has been a huge help. Anytime we've had questions, we've been able to ask them and get serious answers, and people just truly care about each other and growing the sport. And that's been phenomenal.
Yeah, there's so many amazing discs in there. It's kind of speechless of just the crazy next level, and seeing how you guys take the color wheels and doing all that and getting your family involved, and just so awesome to see with the sport. Like you said, like I've talked with Paul quite a bit of, I'm nowhere near at the dying level that you guys are, just for fun wise of trying stuff. And I can say just the information that you're willing to give up, not all dyers out there have been willing to do that. And so it's really cool just getting to talk and how open you guys are. And just, I see so many great things for you guys, especially like with all of those in such a short period of time. It just is kind of blows my mind, honestly. But yeah, I think that you guys will blow up, in my opinion, especially with people getting to see the stuff that you've done and all the discs that are there. So, I mean, I imagine you'll be getting a lot more questions on the dying group, and I plan on putting a link in there. Just like the first video, I had it in there, but I'm gonna put it into your site and then in the disc golf dyer site. So hopefully we get more people, and there's more people who can try all sorts of different things, because that's part of the fun of it, I think, is just seeing what's capable of doing. And I think you guys definitely showcase that better than anyone I've personally seen. And that's my personal opinion. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys talking about everything. And I'm really excited for everybody to see this segment. So I will wrap this segment up for now, but I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to talk to me and be so open about the discs and showcase all the cool stuff that you're doing. And I'm sure we'll probably see you guys on Let's Talk Disc Golf again. So appreciate talking to you, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for having
appreciate
us.
you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bob Toss, and I'm here to do a segment on a basic disc golf dive here on Let's Talk Disc Golf. So first, you want to get a nice white disc, and then you've got different bases that you can do. You can do a glue base, or a lotion base, or a shaving cream base, and each will do different things. You'll have to practice a lot to get good, but there's only happy mistakes. You'll also want to get your colors. I'm using in this one iodide poly and some Spike It to get the colors that I wanted. Some discs don't come naturally white, like this one right here. I bought this one off of Dynamic Discs. It's a blank canvas Captain, which is made for dyeing. But this one, as you can see, has a stamp. So we're going to need to get rid of this stamp if we want to dye it. I'm still going to dye the other one, but I want to show you the easiest way that I know to get the stamp off. So we have this spray called Goof Off Professional. It's pretty potent stuff, so be careful. And if you're a kid, make sure that you have an adult. So you spray a little bit on there and wipe it. Spray a little more. Keep rubbing. And you have to work a little bit. Some people use acetone. Some people use magic erasers. But I found that this is my preferred way. And the stamp is gone. So, next what we're going to do is we're going to make our bed. So I'm going to use a glue bed, and we're going to fill up the bottom. We're just using an Ultimate Frisbee. And this stuff's pouring a little slow because I live in the Midwest and it's been sitting in my garage. But we're going to pour out the glue. I bought this at Hobby Lobby for right around $15, which is a really good deal. You'll get a lot less than that if you go with Elmer and other things, and I know everybody's got their methods, which if you check out the disc dyeing page that we talk about in the other parts of the video, there's great information on there. Make sure that you do use the search function to try and answer some of your questions first, because there has been a lot of great answers that have been given because that site has been up for quite a while. So make sure to use those resources first, but if you can't, there's plenty of people that are happy to talk to you. So what I'm going to do next is take my dye. I got this at Dollar General, and I put lotion and the iodide poly and spike it, and then I mixed it up. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a couple happy lines in here, and you just put in a little here. We're going to do a rainbow today, and you want to just kind of give it a little pour. Get it together as best as you can. And I'm going to put a little orange in here. If it'll come out, some of this stuff works better than others, especially if you've frozen it. We're going to come back to that orange. We're going to throw a little green in here. Oh, what great green. Like a happy little tree. We're going to throw some blue in here. And some purple. Oh, this one's a little runny. And we're just gonna kind of go through the disc here in the different sides and add some layers to it. And you know, there's only happy mistakes. We'll have a really cool looking disc here by the time we're finished. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep working on this, and then, oh, I think I froze my orange. There we go. Oh, great. Oh, all sorts of colors in there. And this will kind of give you an idea of how long this takes to do it. Not too hard. Just putting all these little colors in here together. We just want to make sure there's not a whole lot of space in here in between, or else we'll see the clear lines in here. But it will still look cool no matter what. So I'm just kind of getting this in here. And let's get a little more red in. I like red. And be careful, this stuff does stain. So it will, if you wash it out quickly, usually it's pretty good, but if you don't, and depending on what you get it on, like carpet, it will not come out. This stuff is serious dyeing material. And getting a little more green in here. And we'll get some, a little more blue, a little more purple. And then that will probably be good for our dye. A little more purple here. Alright. Looking pretty good. We're going to fill in some of these spots here. As you can see, we've got a little clear in here. I don't want to move it too much. So I'm going to kind of fill in these spots really quick, and then we'll move to our next portion of the dye, which what we'll do after we get all this out, I like to get a toothpick, and I'm going to kind of rake all of this out to give it another cool little effect. Alright. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to get my toothpick. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go from the center here and just kind of rake it out. Just make little lines over and over and over and over. And that should give it a nice little effect. So after you've done what you want for this effect, which I think that looks pretty good, you're going to want to get the air bubbles out of it. So the method that has worked the best for me, that I learned from the disc dyeing group, is to just drop it repeatedly, and it'll bring the bubbles up to the surface. And then we'll do it more off camera, but then you just kind of want to go over it with a lighter. It will pop the bubbles on the top. Make sure you do not light it on fire. I have done that. And then, you know what? I'll just keep it going since we've already got it there and we're close. Yellow in here. Found a spot that was a little empty. Alright, so pretty good so far. I think I'm going to give it a couple more, maybe a couple more lines in there. That looks pretty good. Try to pop these bubbles a little more with our lighter here. Oh yeah, I can see them popping. Just kind of move quickly. It doesn't take much to pop them, but if you hold it too long, like I said, you will light it on fire, because there is acetone in this with the Spike It, which is what transfers the color so well onto these discs. And I think I'm happy with it. So last but not least, we're going to take our disc and we're going to find where we want the center, and we're just going to roll it in and press it down to right where the edge is. And then for this one, we're going to wait about 24 hours and then we'll pull it out and see where we go and what we got out of it. So thank you for joining me in this dyeing section, and we'll see you in 24 hours. Alright, and we're back. The disc has sat and we have pulled it out of our glue bed, and you want to make sure that you throw away the excess glue and dye into the garbage can and not down your sink. Then you want to get some Dawn dish soap and really rinse that off with hot water and cold water alternating back and forth to make sure that you don't have any excess. This is the disc that we came out with, and we'll take a look at it up close. And then it also has some UV reactant in it with a black light. So I think it turned out pretty well. It's a happy little disc with only minor little happy mistakes. And so we are going to wrap things up. I want to thank Andrew and Colin for having me on Let's Talk Disc Golf, and you're going to get to see a montage now of some really great discs from some really great dyers. Thank you.